I want your soul.
2025 has been an unusual year for WWE. Whilst the product from a financial perspective has remained hot, the creative output has left a lot to be desired. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Number 10. Brock squashes Cena. The WWE's first ever WrestlePalooza show ended in controversy as WWE made the bold call to have a returning Brock Lesnar absolutely demolish John Cena. This received a ton of backlash as this was one of Cena's final ever WWE dates, and him being squashed by Lesnar didn't achieve anything at all. It wasn't even followed up on TV in any capacity, and Cena didn't even mention it. The match was practically retconned, making it completely pointless. A lot of fans were upset as they were under the impression that WWE were mocking Cena, and it's easy to see why. Not a single top name in WWE history would have been treated like this on their way out, and fans had every right to be upset with WWE and Triple H, as this type of booking was truly horrendous. Reports indicated that Cena pushed for this outcome, yet this hasn't been confirmed by Cena himself. It was claimed that Cena was initially booked to win the match, but the match finish was changed just hours before. Now come on, this isn't exactly uncommon in WWE, so this could be 100% accurate. But the booking just made no sense at all, as Lesnar didn't even need to be re-established, and this is the type of match outcome that could have been given to a young star such as Braun Breaker, but WWE just couldn't resist trying to recapture the magic of SummerSlam 2014. Just let it go, man. Number 9. Call it a day. The key to creating an iconic feud is knowing when to call it a day. Sadly, in 2025, Triple H just couldn't find that right balance. Feuds in 2025 have gone on for so long that fans have completely lost interest. Feuds between the likes of CM Punk and Seth Rollins went on for pretty much the entire year, and it was even rumored that the feud would go into 2026. Feuds between the likes of Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton went on for months and months and months with zero new developments, and it was almost as if WWE were just copying and pasting every single week. What's needed in 2026 are short, snappy feuds, and Triple H needs to stop relying on his established booking formula of extended rivalries, as they're turning the fans away from the product. Number 8. The Women's US title. The WWE's hit a home run when it comes to the presentation of the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The title is featured weekly, and the work of Becky Lynch to elevate the title deserves all the credit in the world. Sadly, the same couldn't be said for the US title over on SmackDown. The title has been a complete disaster, so much so that the title is yet to be defended on a single WWE PLE. That's right, the title has never been featured on a PLE at all. This is a clear sign that WWE just had no idea what to do with it. And the fact that the two heels are currently feuding over the title is a clear indicator that the title needs major attention in the new year. Otherwise, just scrap the damn thing. Number 7. Jey Uso's push. Now don't get us wrong, WWE pushing Jey Uso makes a ton of sense. Jey is insanely over with the audience, and he's continuously a top merchandise seller for the company. He makes the money. WWE would go all in on Jey at the Royal Rumble as they would have him win the annual matchup, and this came as a major surprise as fans expected John Cena or CM Punk to win the matchup, and Jey had wrestled for the world title just 7 days prior and lost. The internet backlash to his win was substantial, and it started a trend of the internet turning on Jey, specifically when it came to YouTube dislikes. Jey's in-ring work was questioned by fans all through the build to WrestleMania, and WWE even turned this into a storyline where Jey would even botch in his matches. Jey would win the world title at WrestleMania in what some would label as Gunther's worst match ever, making the odd decision to have him tap out. This is something that Gunther rarely ever did in WWE, and to have him tap out to Jey Uso was nonsensical. Jey would have a brief reign with the title, but he remained linked to the world title on television throughout the rest of the year. Whilst Jey remains over with the general audience, the internet has definitely had enough of Jey Uso, and maybe it's time for WWE to rethink his booking and presentation in 2026. At least WWE got it right when they wouldn't have him as the last ever opponent for John Cena. That would have created a Chernobyl-like reaction. Number 6. Bloodline Hunter. Drew McIntyre had a standout year in 2024. His feud with CM Punk was the feud of the year, and coming out of that rivalry, he looked destined for the world title scene. McIntyre's booking started off really strong in 2025, as he would debut a new Bloodline character where he was seeking to banish the Bloodline from WWE once and for all. There were even rumors that this was going to lead to a featured match versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41, but WWE would ultimately pivot on this. McIntyre would go from being rumored to face Reigns to facing Damian Priest at Wrestlemania. Granted, Priest is talented, but he's not Roman Reigns. McIntyre's booking has struggled to regain momentum for the rest of 2025. McIntyre has lost back-to-back matches versus Cody Rhodes, and it seems like WWE just has zero interest in crowning McIntyre anytime in the near future. Have they dropped the ball on him completely? Well, let's hope not. Number 5. LA Knight's booking. LA Knight is a name that just can't get over that creative hurdle in WWE. LA has been over as hell for over 2 years now, but Triple H just can't pull the trigger on him. Knight has been given main event pushes throughout 2025, but it was a given that LA Knight was never going to win the world title. This is frustrating as a viewer and a fan of LA Knight, as this was a type of booking that was commonplace in the Vince McMahon era of WWE. McMahon resented anyone that got over via their own accord, and eventually fans stopped caring as they knew their support was completely pointless. It's been widely reported that LA Knight will be receiving that mega push up the card soon, but when this will be remains to be seen. There's been speculation on social media that Triple H isn't a big fan of LA Knight, and it's certainly easy to see where this speculation surfaces from. Number 4. A dire Wrestlemania. WrestleMania 41 was heavily panned by fans and critics alike. Specific criticism was offered regarding the Night 2 main event between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Whilst this match should have worked, the dynamic was completely off, and it was almost as if the crowd were waiting for The Rock to show up. When The Rock didn't appear and instead Travis Scott took 82 years to enter the ring, with the Iron Sheik making it down quicker, it completely killed the crowd. The match was poorly put together, and it's quite rightly being labelled as one of the worst WrestleMania main events in company history. Thankfully for WWE, the rematch between Rhodes and Cena was a considerable improvement, and in a weird twist of fate, it's now on many fans' shortlists of the best match of 2025. Number 3. Randy Orton's booking. Randy Orton has been booked incredibly poorly since he returned at Survivor Series 2023. Whilst Orton is perhaps better than ever in the ring, WWE just can't get behind him for some strange reason. Orton has spent the best part of 2 years teasing a feud with Cody Rhodes, and the more WWE teases it, the less fans care, especially when they have him just looking at the title every time. Orton seems to lose every big match WWE books him in, and he's basically on a part-time contract as he appears for a match, puts over a name, and then just disappears. WWE needs to realize that Orton is one of the biggest names left under contract, and they are without a doubt taking him for granted in every way. Even his presentation is puzzling, because in theory, Triple H should be pushing Orton to the moon, as Orton was his hand-picked guy over 20 years ago. WWE are letting Orton down, and he's a name that deserves better in 2026. It's even crazy that he's missed the last 4 PLEs in WWE. Number 2. Fiend. Celebrities getting involved in pro wrestling isn't a new concept. However, over the years, we've seen time and time again celebrities coming into the world of WWE to make money, and they clearly have zero interest in pro wrestling. This has thankfully shifted thanks to names such as Logan Paul, IShowSpeed, and Bad Bunny, and even Jelly Roll understood the art of pro wrestling, so much so that he volunteered to lose at SummerSlam. But the same couldn't be said for Travis Scott, as despite his stature outside of wrestling, the fans just didn't care. WWE present Scott alongside Cena during the initial heel turn, and he was weirdly presented as the difference maker in the WrestleMania main event. This was really short-sighted on WWE's part, as Scott wasn't even an active wrestler. He had never even taken a bump before. It was almost as if WWE were telling the audience that Scott was as big as anyone on the active roster. It was then reported that the working relationship between Scott and WWE had come to an end, and even one of WWE's top heels, Drew McIntyre, labeled Scott as a piece of shit. Doesn't get worse than that. And number 1, well, you knew it was coming. Botched retirement tour. Now on paper, the idea of John Cena having a full 12 months in WWE before retiring sounds incredible. This would be WWE's opportunity to have Cena run it back with his arch rivals and hopefully create some new stars in the process. Things started off extremely well with a somewhat ambitious heel turn for Cena at the annual Elimination Chamber show. This was a heel turn that nobody saw coming, and Cena aligning with The Rock was a shocking angle that was compared to Stone Cold Steve Austin selling his soul way back at WrestleMania 17. Unfortunately, this is where the issues began. The Rock, who was the catalyst for the entire heel turn, would decide to drop out of the planned storyline, so this left WWE and Cena in an awkward position. The Rock's involvement was basically retconned, and WWE had to improvise with a half-baked approach to Cena's heel presentation. The motivations were simply weak, and nothing that Cena was saying resonated with the fans. Cena's heel run lasted from Elimination Chamber to SummerSlam, and during this time, he feuded with names such as Randy Orton, CM Punk, and even R-Truth. Most of these matches were overbooked messes with interference spots, and when the bell rang on the matches with Orton and Punk, fans were left disappointed, as it didn't act as a fitting end to these iconic rivalries. In the summer, WWE would then pivot and revert Cena back to his babyface status, and WWE basically acted like the heel run never occurred. There was evidently an internal conflict between Cena and Triple H, as Triple H would often claim that Cena was booking his own retirement run and even credited Cena for bringing back Brock Lesnar. Cena would outright deny this, and the only creative output Cena has had was showcasing NXT stars during his final ever WWE event. Cena's final run has been left with missed opportunities, and it will certainly be interesting to know what the man himself thinks of the retirement run, as it's been a total letdown. But there you have it, folks, 10 of the worst WWE booking decisions in 2025. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.